All right. I'm on a couple minutes, like 2 minutes early here, just to get some, wait for some people. I have something kind of cool to show you guys today. Make sure all these angles are working here. Yes, sir. All right. If you're out there, leave a comment in the live chat so I know you're here. And if you have any questions about WTS drums, about anything drumming wise, or anything you think I could answer, just leave it in the comment on the side in the live chat. Well, it's been for those of you watching. This is unrelated to music, but I don't know who all's watching the stock market out there, but GameStop, that's been it's been crazy. They actually had to stop trading on GameStop today because it went up like 70% today, and they just halted it. And that's after another 70-60% day they had the other day, and that's mainly due to a what they call a short squeeze. Anyway, really interesting. So, you know, if you're into that sort of thing, go check it out. Yahoo Finance, GameStop, GME is the ticker symbol, and look up short squeeze. Very interesting to see how that works. Um, all right, well, there's a few people on here, so I guess I'll get started. Okay, so I've done two other sessions this week, right? So I've gone pretty in depth into my signature snare drum over here, this baby. And, you guys have seen this angle a lot. And um, let me tell you a little bit about myself and kind of the personality that I have as a musician, and then I'll kind of put things in context for what we have planned today. Um, so what I have planned today is actually I have a little like electro pop kind of song, and I'm gonna do a little recording session here, and I'm just gonna play a groove, tune the snare drum in a few different ways, and you can kind of see how everything works in real time. So, first, for those of you who don't know, my name is Steve Pruitt. I'm a lifelong drummer. Um, I played my first gig, I guess, when I was 12 years old. Played with a blues band. Uh, Fun facts: another one of my first gigs was playing hard rock and metal at a Mormon church dance. So that was one of the early startups. And actually, what's funny is the bass player was a drummer too, and I didn't own a double bass pedal, but he did. So he would bring his double bass pedal, but the stipulation was whenever we played double bass songs, he would sit on the drums and play them. And all he did was just twitch and go fast. Um, yeah, but I started from there, and then I started playing local blues bands and funk and rock, and then I got into jazz, um, and then I mean, when I was in high school, I actually didn't really participate in the school music program. I was already uh, playing gigs and stuff, and which was great. And I would just before school, I'd play drums. During school lunch break, I had my practice pad. I'd sneak into the band room, and then after school, I'd go home and just play drums. Not that this is recommended, but I didn't really do homework. I didn't really study. I didn't do all that stuff. I just played drums. That's all I did, and it was joyous. Uh, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of my upbringing, and back then we didn't really. I mean, the internet wasn't really a thing until, gosh, late 90s. So I graduated high school in 2000. And so I remember uh, I remember I mean, in early days of YouTube, gosh, uh, 2002, I mean, there was hardly anything on it. So nowadays, you can, like, if all videos, I think, in any genre of anything you're interested in stopped right now, I think there would still be enough videos for an infinite lifetime. Um, so, anyways, so I had a bunch of instructional videos I used to love to watch. I think the first one was like Simon Phillips and Dennis Chambers and all that. I used to go to my local stores and I'd watch all the VHS tapes they had, uh, and those were the days when each town would have a few different drum shops. Um, so my mom on Saturdays would, while she was out shopping, she would just drop me off at the local drum shop, and I go and I'd tap every cymbal, I'd tap every drum, I'd ask annoying questions, and they had all the VHS tapes behind the counter, and I'd be like, "Hey, can you put that one on? Hey, can you put that one on?" And so that was kind of my upbringing, um, and uh, so I did that, and then when I was really young, I started playing with local blues bands with old guys and all that. And then I was getting into studying jazz, and I started playing gigs and when I was in high school. And anyway, went to college, and then moved to uh, I went to college briefly here in Oklahoma for like 2 years. Just practicing every single day, all night. And then I went to North Texas, and that was life changing, and met a lot of people there. And as I was finishing school at North Texas, I started playing and touring with Snarky Puppy, and I was involved in that band for probably 5 years. And then I was also gigging and touring around town. Um, and then yeah, I just really worked my way up and started doing like international tours, with jazz artists, and I toured the country with a variety of different artists. And then I moved to South Korea, and I play with a ton of great artists there. And uh, I played on some K-pop hits, and I played with some fantastic jazz musicians over there, and just all around musicians. And whenever foreign musicians would come to Korea, I would often get the call to play, which was awesome. And then I was building my own. I had my own studio, and I started doing more sessions there, and just kind of building up a career. And now we're here, and I'm back in the United States. And man, what a fantastic journey it's been so far. So, all right. So, uh, as many of us, we're not really playing gigs outside, but I do work in my studio a lot. So I thought I would show you uh, a few different ways, like how this operates in the session. Okay, so I don't know why the logic latency is out of control. So let me fix this real quick, and then we'll get into it. All right, check, check. All right, that works for now. Okay, so um, we're going to listen to this kind of electro pop track, and we're just going to focus on snare drum sound. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with here. Let me turn that down a bit. Is this loud to you guys? You can tell me. Yeah, something like this. So I'm going to do is, what up, Tim? What I'm going to do is I'm going to this is kind of a medium high tuning right now on the snare. So I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play whatever this snares where it's tuned at, and I'm just gonna play a groove, and we're gonna listen back together. Okay. So all right, we're not gonna play a whole song, just a little part of it. Let's get back in. Let's get into this groove here. All right. All right. Can you guys is that all right here? So let's listen to what that sounded like a little bit. Turn the tracks down a little bit. Yeah, this is the process. Yeah, this is the process, like you got to adjust, you got to uh, make sure everything's cool. Um, yeah, why is that all the way up? That you just discovered dumb mistakes along the way. All right, let's try that. All right. All right, that was cool. That was cool. So let's try. There was that tuning. My instinct, which my instinct is to say that tuning this kind of low and thuddy to kind of get more of that 80s sound might be super cool on this track. So let's try it. And I'll record just right after this so we can A B them. Okay, so I'll go to the tuning. Yeah, so that's not like all the way down, but it's enough to get that thud. So let's give that a try. All right. Sorry you had to just look at my dumb face while I was doing that, but forgot to switch angles. Okay, so let's listen to that a little bit. Cool. I mean, I dug that vibe, but I kind of feel like that we should go lower on it. So let's tune it lower and see where we can go. See where we can go from there. Yeah, so what I did was I tuned it lower, but because the heads are becoming looser and uh, you know, uh, I guess the heads are kind of coming a little bit away from the shell a little bit more. Um, that's not the best way to put it, but you know what I mean. Uh, it's best to loosen the snares to get more of a fat thwap. So let's try this thwap and see how it works. I think it's pretty wide. All right. Now let's check out a little bit of that. Sorry, I left my talk mic off of mute, so I'm going to mute it now. Man, I like that one a lot. Um, so let's try really cranking it up. And just we with this tuning system, like we can just do it really quick and see what it's like. Like I can talk to you and do it. And I mean, I think all these tuning options are viable options. It's just a matter of personal choice or what the producer wants and all that. But being able to access it this quick is pretty awesome. So we got it cranked. Now let's try this. All right, let's check this out. Go back a little bit. I mean, that one felt good too. I mean, we'll just see what the vibe's like. Okay, so now let's kind of compare all of them and let me know which one which one you guys like. Um, let's see, digital perspectives. Oh, great. Yeah, I will get to your question in 1 second. And I appreciate you showing the support. And basically, what I'm demonstrating now is this is a drum company. They do make drums, uh, and of course, it's they made their own proprietary tuning system. That's what it is. So I'm showing how quick it is to run um, through a session here. So I turned the turned the drums up a bit so you guys can hear a little better. All right, so let's listen to this a little bit. All right, so my personal favorite is the low and fat thud over here. Yeah. So, as you can see in this session, I guess spent about 10 15 minutes just going through a few different snare drum sounds. And you can find WTS drums www.wtsdrums.com. You could go on Instagram. You can check my Instagram. I'm posting stuff about it. It's really great. And by the way, a lot of you might not realize this, but the drum I'm playing is my signature snare drum, and and it's it's a 13 by 7.5. But I'm not really one of those guys that says that thinks, oh well, it's a 13, but it sounds like a 15 or something. A great sounding drum is just a great sounding drum, and I just think this works. So yeah, and I hope this kind of illuminated some things about these drums and how great they work and how easy it is to change in a session. And like, think about if you did that with a tension rod. It would take forever, and there's a possibility that you might kind of miss the mark, or maybe like you have your snare drum tuned perfectly when you're at home, but when you brought it to the session, it just didn't work, and then you have to change everything. I mean, that's just time and effort. I mean, that's time wasted. And this allows me to get to the recording and get to the music and artistry very, very fast. And that's why I always say, if you've seen my videos about it, that it really enhances my artistry, because tuning the drums is like not really a thought anymore. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, I want it lower. Okay, I want it higher. And which is great. And again, this isn't saying that this is, like, I'm not trying to wage a war against tension rod drums. I still have plenty of tension rod drums, but this this is just its own thing, and it has so many great benefits to it. So okay, so nice. Where is WTS located out of? Well, I believe, Sam, if you're still on, you can chime in here. Sam is like the company is based out of Colorado. So, um, and you know, but yeah, Tim, tuning drums is not really a thought anymore. I mean, it's exactly true, you know? Like, uh, I mean, Tim, you can relate. It's like if you have like a jazz kit and you really found that sweet spot, Welsh drums based in Denver. If you got that sweet spot, then you don't really want to mess with it, right? Like you don't want to tune it. And I was the same way. So I just have a kit that was dedicated for groove stuff and a kit that was dedicated for jazz stuff. But you know, this isn't really an issue here. And just for the sake, you know, for people who haven't seen before, I'll just show you. So usually on a jazz kit, I play a snare and 12 and a 14. So I'll show where these are at now, and then I'll tune them up for jazz. I'll just kind of go back and forth and show you how easy it is. Yeah. So as you can see, I was at a, I had my jazz gig, and then I wanted to go, went to my funk gig, tune it down a little bit. You know what? Let's go back to the jazz gig. Anyway, sorry, I had the camera on my ugly mug there for a second while I was tuning. Um, Took it back to the jazz gig. I don't have to worry about sweet spots anymore. I can just immediately find it. It takes no time. Let's see. Tim. Yeah, man, these drums are pretty great. And you know what? These are 2-ply heads on top. So, and they're still singing that much. And does the tuning system tune the top and bottom at the same time, or just the top? It tunes both heads simultaneously. Okay, so what happens is that this is a question a lot of people have. I would say that most drummers, they want their bottom head, uh, uh, the bottom head is a little bit higher than the top head, right? So, uh, um, so that's usually what drummers want the most. And typically, drummers use either a coated head or a two-ply head or both, like a coated two-ply head on the batter and a clear on the bottom, like a clear single-ply head. Well, when you apply the same amount of tension to both heads, obviously the thinner head is going to have a higher pitch than the top head, right? So that's kind of the basic science of that. And especially works like on the snare because the snare side head is obviously much thinner than the batter side. So it's just kind of one of those magical things that just works super well. And then, but if you want both heads to be the same, just put the same head on both sides. If you want the bottom head to be a little lower for some reason, just, change the heads, put the thicker head on the bottom, And I'm a stickler for tuning, absolute stickler. And I practiced it, I really honed it, and I kind of have my own style and tuning that really worked for me. But, me being neurotic about tuning, never once thought about on these drums. Never. I always thought it's great. No, you cannot tune with the drum key. Let's see. I'll just show you here. This is the mechanism. Just like tuning a bass, That's it. So some other things that are really great about this drum is I mentioned this before, but because there's 90% less hardware on these drums than there are on their other drums. See, like you can see, like here, this is not drilled into the drum. This is coming from the hoop. So really, really ingenious design. And let me just say, this is just the beginning. I know that Sam has a ton of stuff cooking that will be super cool through the years to come, because this is a relatively young company, like 3 years old, 4 years old, something like that. But yeah, this is if this is the beginning, then there's going to be so much cool stuff. I've personally thought, like, when I saw this, the tuning mechanism and all that stuff, there's so many possibilities, with this. And, the biggest complaint that I hear from people is that, is one of the biggest ones is tuning drums, or how often do you lose your drum key in the abyss of another dimension every time you drop it, or whatever. But with this, you don't worry about it. But you still need a drum key to operate your pedal and all that stuff. Let's see. So Digital Perspectives is saying, I've been professional for 30 years with studio and gigs. It would be a lifesaver in the studio for saving time going back to back from track to track. Man, I'm telling you. And I was just saying that my signature snare and the Epiphany drums, the brand new series, it's much more, super high quality, but a little bit more affordable than the Artistry series. These are the Artistry series, like the shells and the finish and everything is just so immaculate. So it's the flagship for sure. So now we have this drum, which is you know, I mean, super boutique, high level drum, but we're able to bring down the cost a little bit so that way anyone can add it to their setup. So, but yeah, it's for me in here, it's awesome. Like when I get a session, I put in the track just like I did today, and then I just said, I was like, okay, where's my ear here? And I just mess around for a second, instantly playing. And so that's kind of what's going on. Sorry, I thought someone was knocking. Um, oh man, thank you so much. This digital perspective says you're a great player, Steve, and super gratitude. I've been following your playing for a minute. Thank you. Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for following, and I really appreciate the kind words. Um, I'm really, really super excited about this, because I mean, it's just different and I see a lot of possibilities and I can see it creating its own lane, right? Uh, and I've shown it to many people, and uh, people really seem to dig it so far. And, you know, it's it's really, really exciting, and I'm very fortunate to be a part of it. Sam, I gotta say thank you to Sam and Laura at Welch Tuning Systems and the whole team there. Just fantastic people. I mean, honestly, like, you can't really find people that are better to work with than the Welch Tuning Systems people. Um, and I appreciate the craftsmanship and the forward thinking and all those things. Those are all the things that really attracted me to it. Um, so yeah. Well, I guess I'll wrap up today. Are there any last questions? I'll kind of uh, give it 30 seconds or so before I finish up here. Um, Anyways, this has been a very unique Namm experience, but it is nice not having the crowd noise. It's nice to be able to be in my own studio from home, and but it's nice to have the human connection. So hopefully in the future we'll be able to have that at the Namm show. If you have any questions or anything, hit me or Welch Tuning Systems or anything. Any of us on Instagram, on here on YouTube and WTS's website. I mean, easy to Google us, easy to find us on social media. So, yeah. All right. So I'm going to end this here. Much love to you guys, and lots more to come this year. Already, 2021. Let's make this an awesome year. Okay. See you guys.